All right, hello, Idiots on Parade, the Too Ugly for TV podcast. We mock the news so you don't have to. Hello, Jake.
How's it going?
All is well here. That is Jake Vevra, stand-up comedian in New York City. I am Nathan Timmel, stand-up comedian in Iowa City. Jake, what do you want to open with? Should we just jump on the State of the Union and the response?
Yeah, let's do it.
And I'll tell you right up front, I had a show. I wasn't going to watch it anyway, but I was slinging jokes to a packed house in the Quad Cities. Those people didn't want to watch the president yammer on either, so it was good night.
Nice. Thank God for red states, huh? Otherwise, you wouldn't have any crowd showing up during the State of the Union.
Yes.
But with the State of the Union, though, it's not like you really have to watch it live. I mean,
no.
I didn't watch it live either. I was doing a show as well, but he did good. I thought he did well. It's a good sign when the party that's always saying he's too tired and he's too old and he's too bambly is going, I think he's on drugs. He's on some kind of upper or something. Yeah. It's like, well, that's basically your way of admitting he did all right.
The only thing, it's pandering. It's literally like, oh, now I'm just gonna pander to, so I don't watch because I don't care. The clips I saw, like you said, I'm like, oh, okay, he was fired up. He didn't look like Dementia Joe. He looked like did a line of cocaine Joe. So good. The response,
Joe, he looked like Hunter. It was great. He looked like Hunter Biden on spring break in Ukraine.
The response everyone's making fun of, I tried watching the Saturday Night Live response or version of it. It didn't do anything for me. What I would like to have seen from the Saturday Night Live is to they just poke fun, grab it by, get some meat on your comedy. The one quote that kept jumping out at me was, and this is embarrassing, the unfortunate young woman who lost her life to an illegal immigrant, and was it Alabama? I forget. They're saying say her name, and I can't remember her name right now, so it's embarrassing. She brought her up, the not Kari Lake, that's Arizona. Yeah. Whoever this fucking new one is from Alabama. The response, I don't know. Anyway, I'm just gonna
Bailey
start
was
over.
Her name. Yeah.
Anyway, the say her name. In the response, she said, that's a mother's
Lakin something, right?
Yeah. She said, that's a mother's worst. As a mother, that's my worst nightmare to imagine that happening to my daughter.
Yeah.
And I thought I haven't seen anybody talking about this. I've not seen any political pundits responding this way. To me, the first thing I thought of was, yeah, that is every parent's nightmare, but you're telling me you're not worried about school shootings or, I don't know what else is out there. There are a couple things no,
it's pretty convenient. Yes. I would like to quiz Marjorie Taylor Greene or whatever that crazy senator lady in Alabama on the first and last names of the victims in the Buffalo supermarket shooting. I'll bet they don't know them. I'll bet they don't have cutesy little pins for them. They have no merch. They have no merch for the people slain in school shootings and mass shootings all around the country.
Yeah. The other one was, so her worst nightmare is an illegal, but not a mass shooting. And, I can't imagine my daughter going through that. But at the same time, you're in the position of, if the worst thing ever happens to my daughter and an assailant impregnates her, well, that's a horrible thing, but the baby's still a blessing from God. So she should have no choices and have to carry that to term. It's like,
right. But after she carries it to term, she doesn't believe in anchor babies either. So that baby's got to go back to somewhere. I don't know where.
Or even if it's not it's neglect. It's like, all right, you shouldn't have had a baby, you slut. Even if it wasn't your choice, no food stamps for you. It's like the outrage is so selective. Like, oh, I worry all the time about illegals attack, but not school shootings, which seem to happen more often, or attacks or assaults that seem to happen more often. It's just, the outrage is always amusing, and it's on both sides.
And the outrage on the left over the term illegal. There was people are mad that he called the guy who murdered a teenager or whatever illegal. It's like I was seeing posts of no human being is illegal. Like, really? That's who you're going to bat for? This guy who's like killing teenagers or whatever? Like, hey, I think we can call that guy illegal. Okay, it's fine.
And it was our favorite fucking person in Minnesota. It was Ilhan Omar who said that. It's like, is she ever not on the wrong stance of anything? She's the one that also tweeted, from the river to the sea, but it's a peaceful phrase. Like, no, it's been co-opted. You
Right,
you
right.
can
Yeah, yeah.
no, even if it's we said it in the podcast. The origins of Hitler's swastika were a Buddhist symbol, but at this point, that the train has left the
I get
station. You
funny
can't
looks when I
say
walk around with it on my little yoga mat.
right. You can't say, oh no, I mean the Buddhist one from the river to the sea. That train has left the station as well. You can't. But I meant it in a peaceful. Ilan, just shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. He's an illegal. He's a piece of shit. He's a murderer. You're worrying
Well,
about
and the thing
terms.
is we do like the language police thing on the left, where it's like, oh no, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 it's not illegal. He's undocumented. Oh, he's not homeless. He's unhoused. It's like, hey, instead of playing fun little word games with them, what are you actually doing to help these people? Because it seems like the worst part about being an illegal immigrant, oh, sorry, an undocumented immigrant, isn't the word illegal. It's the fact that you have to work for like $4 an hour and you're being economically exploited. You don't have any rights or anything. You can get deported at any moment. What are you doing to help these people? They don't want to be undocumented either, as you would say. If you're one of those people, you don't want to have to do construction work outside in June for $4 an hour, while a fat white guy in an air conditioned truck makes all the goddamn money. That's worse than being called illegal. What are you doing to help them? Nothing. What are you doing to help the home? Oh, not homeless. That's a slur. Unhoused. You're letting them OD in a pile of their own shit in a tent on the sidewalk. That's very compassionate of you. I'm sure they love that. It's chisel unhoused right on their dirty little tombstones. And then pat yourself on the back.
You know what's I don't know, not trending, but do you fuck around on Twitter, not Twitter, TikTok at all?
But you're here and there.
They call, I don't know if it's murder or killed or just dead, but unalived. That's a term. And I don't know if it's because TikTok, the algorithm doesn't like the word dead or killed, but you hear like,
yeah, that's an
oh, he
algorithm thing.
unalived him. I'm like, what the fuck is the terminology here? Why are we so afraid of words?
I don't think that's not like a political correct kind of thing. That's like a that I believe that I could be wrong, but that one is like an
The
algorithm thing.
algorithm?
If you start talking murder or
Yeah.
killed or whatever, then you get the algorithm thinks that. Well, clearly this must be a cartel beheading video. Sorry, I meant a cartel person of unheadedness video.
Well, I did get dinged on TikTok. They flagged a video of mine because I can't remember exactly what I said, but I made fun of Hitler, or I compared something to Hitler, or I insulted, and because I said Hitler, it was like, oh, this must be a white supremacist meeting. You're dinged,
Right.
and I'm like, no, I said it. So the next time
You do
I
have
said,
the face of a man who was going to talk about some of the good points that he made about the Treaty of Versailles being a shit deal for Germany, and good things he did for the Autobahn and such.
that's why everybody fears AI, and it's like, no, AI can't tell the difference between a discussion and a plot, a scheme that's being hatched.
That's true.
They
Well,
just
not yet.
flag
It can't.
words.
It's getting good. It's going to get good.
All right, moving on. Neither one of us watched it. We both have, but
No, I
oh,
went back and
please.
watched it later, like
Yeah.
the State of the Union. Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna read the headline.
One
And
second
it was
before we do this. Sorry, my monsters. I can still hear you. My monster's wearing off, so I'm going to grab another one. I can still hear it.
sure. I was just gonna say the headline is a man deliberately got 217 COVID shots. Here's what happened. Except nothing really happened. It's just that's like a clickbait headline. Like, why is he doing that? It was over the course of June 2021 and
He
November
could just
20.
go with Monster Energy. That's what I say. You don't need all those fucking vaccines. You only need a second one of these things for the day.
The chemicals
What are
in
we
Monster
recording?
Energy are going to kill.
Yeah,
Over June 2021
this
to
shit's
November
way worse than the
23.
vaccine. I guarantee you.
Here's my first. 134 were confirmed by a prosecutor through vaccination center documentation. The remaining 83 were self-reported. How are you self-reporting these? Where do you get your 83 just on the street COVID shots? Like, there's not a market for it like pot or cocaine. Who's
No,
buying?
over there in Germany, that's what they do. They're over there yelling, "Weed, coke, COVID-19 vaccine boosters. Like it's what they do over there.
Here's my favorite part. He did not have any vaccine related side effects. All right. So all that talk about heart attacks, that's called an overblown conspiracy theory. But my favorite quote is right here. Perhaps he didn't get COVID because he was well protected in the first 3 doses of the vaccine. It's like he's taken, how many did he take? Yeah, 217. I would hope he didn't get it because they said that was the thing up front. You won't get it. And then it's like, well, you'll get it, but it'll be mild. Maybe he's so pumped full that he got it 20 times and just never noticed because he just had so much fucking vaccine in him.
That's true. I mean, but that's not how vaccines work. I mean, you don't take them every 3 months like that. It's already kind of doing what it needs to do to your immune system, right?
Right,
So
but that's what I'm saying.
what are we doing?
It's supposed to lessen the effect. Like you'll still get COVID, but it's not gonna.
Yeah,
But his blood. I'd like to know his blood oxygen versus blood COVID vaccine levels. Like he was probably rocking like, okay, you got this many hemoglobins and this many. Like his blood was all
right.
vaccination at some point.
It was no after the 200th one, he became Batman. That's right. He's saving the Gotham of Germany. When this was Germany, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Where
Yeah.
was it? Yeah. Keep saying European.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
thought I
one
saw
German man.
Germany.
Yeah, Germany.
Okay.
Right
Yeah.
there.
So it's either a dude in Germany or a dude from Germany. So you know what I'm gonna give Germany the credit for this one. It's this guy's all you. German Joe Rogan really goes to the other extreme than American Joe Rogan. You know what I mean?
They do
Hey,
have a
how you
word
doing?
for it.
I'm on Instagram Live. I'm taking my big 200. Cock. Got another one. Yeah. COVID's not getting me.
They call it hyper vaccination. I don't think any physician or public health official would recommend doing what this gentleman did. You think?
Yeah. I mean, it does speak to the, although nothing fights anti-vax conspiracy theories like a guy running around like if a shred of what they're saying is true, this man should be bright fucking pink and be covered in weird lesions. Like
Yeah.
something should be happening. A little mini Hillary Clinton should be growing out of his stomach like
Like
Quaid in
Quato.
Total Recall.
Yeah.
Take the vaccine. Take the vaccine, Quaid.
That's what I said earlier is like he should have had 20 heart attacks by now. Like were they saying that it made the blood congeal or shit like that? And yeah, it's like, yeah, he seems to be fine.
He seems,
And
in fact, not only that, I've tracked this guy down and drank some of his blood. It's you can't tell yet on the camera. It's bringing back my hair and it cured my erectile dysfunction. So thank you, German Joe Rogan. Your blood is the nectar of life. It is the fountain of youth, the
he's
holy
like
grail.
he's not German. Oh, he's German Joe Rogan, but he's Joe Rogan with a goatee. It's the opposite Joe Rogan. You always have to have a goatee or a mustache to show,
Yeah,
oh, there's one good and one bad, and he's the goatee Joe Rogan.
fuck yeah, dude. I want German Joe Rogan to fight American Joe Rogan live on on both their podcasts streaming at the same time. Spotify and Spotify, whatever their Spotify is over there.
All right. Oh, this is something we've talked about in the past. It's funny how we can never ever have like a middle ground or common sense. It always has to be just extremes to the side. A few years ago, San Francisco, certain towns went, "Oh, we defund the police. We need to treat criminals with patience and respect and love them because if they had hugs as children, they wouldn't be criminals." Oops, San Francisco ties welfare to drug screening, boosts police powers in stunning, tough on crime shift. Yeah, when 97% of your sidewalks are used as toilets and covered in human shit, and you can fill a bag full of $999.99 worth of shoplifting, and it's not a crime because it's not 1,000. I think you're going to bounce back and go the other direction. It was that thing like, nobody said this was a good idea except for the dumbest of the dumb on the farthest of the left. Everyone is like, you're letting criminals get away with and is what happened. So now they're fucking bouncing back, rubber banding the other way. Can't we just like find a middle ground where, yeah, you don't have to tackle and give someone the death penalty for shoplifting, but you don't just let them walk out the goddamn door?
Well, yeah, I see. I'm a little more cynical about this. I don't think it's a coincidence that this is coming during election year.
Oh, good
I
point.
think
Good point.
that I think this they're doing the same thing there. Now it seems San Francisco went way nuttier than New York because for all of the sort of national news hype that New
Oh,
York
you're
gets
getting
for being
National
this
Guard in the
right.
subways.
I
Yeah.
was just going to bring that up because for all of the hype that it gets for being kind of like San Francisco or Seattle, where they're just, hey, they'll just let them do what they want, man. Like, no, that shit doesn't play in a city this packed. You can't have the fucking tent cities. You can't do any of that crazy shit. They're just, you have to fucking keep traffic moving. I'm sorry. Like, it's just, and it got overblown a lot by Fox News. I know, like my mom, when she came to stay with me, I've talked about this before on here, but
Yeah.
just freaked out to go anywhere. And I'm like, Mom, the Fox News people, they broadcast right across the street from me where I work in Midtown. If it was really like this Mad Max hellscape, they would not be doing live shows from here 7 days a week. They wouldn't. They'd be in Connecticut or something.
The only
It just
reason they leave, the only reason anyone leaves is taxes. They look
right.
like, oh, money. All right, we're going somewhere
It's
else.
wildly expensive here. That
Yeah.
that is true. And but that's again, it's a supply and demand thing. It's because it's so packed that it's so insanely expensive. I'm not saying that this city doesn't find a way to fucking charge you extra for shit. It absolutely does. But that said, crime did get way worse during COVID. I've said that. Like,
Yeah.
because I take the subway every day, a lot at night for shows and stuff. I was still doing a lot of that during the pandemic, like not in the early COVID so much, but and there was a lot more crazy motherfuckers on the train. And yeah, you'll see homeless people on the train all the time, but they mostly just kind of sit at the end. They keep to themselves. They don't really bother anybody. They don't smell the best all the time, but hey, I'm talking like on a daily basis. I would see somebody like aggressively screaming at somebody on subway platforms and trains or whatever, to where it's like, oh, this guy's gonna assault somebody. Like, this is gonna be fucking nuts, like whereas you'll see that occasionally now if you're out and about a lot, but then it was like a daily occurrence. That said, after COVID, it pretty much went back to where it was before. I haven't noticed a fucking difference. And again, I'm transferring all around the city at night and stuff. That I haven't noticed a big spike between this year and last year. They're implementing the National Guard. The cynical side of me that I'm tying to the thing in San Francisco. It's not a coincidence. This is during an election year.
Well, and let me ask you this: when it comes to, it's not a police state. What you're going to see is
they're doing
extra
nothing.
cops is what it's going to look like.
They're
You're not
doing
going to
nothing.
have like, guys with the, M16s lined up in a row, just, like move along, move along, move along. You're going to see a couple extra people. It's going to be like extra security in every station, like two extra guys or one extra.
No, every now and then you'd see SWAT team guys just on patrol or something
Yeah.
before COVID.
And
like
that's all, you just extra guys. It's not like you're getting lined up and.
But no, they would have the M4 and all that. Like, but they wouldn't really be
cool.
doing anything. They would just be standing there, No, I think you are gonna see guys with the M4s and shit because it's the National Guard.
Well, I'm just saying, not lining everybody up. You're just going to see more security.
No, they're going to be checking bags. They're doing this for show. They're doing this because they saw how Tom Suozzi beat the lady he was running against for George Santos' seat in New York.
By going hard against immigration.
Right. Yeah. And they know that Republicans are going to try to hit in the general election crime and immigration, So what did the Democrats had Republicans in the Senate write a border bill that was even written by that crazy senator lady that was doing the rebuttal to the State of the Union. She was one of the writers of the border bill that their party killed because Donald Trump wanted to run on it. That's why they
I went to high school with one of the stupidest people out there. He's still a friend of mine, and he's posting open border shit. And I literally said, so why didn't the Republicans vote for the bill they wrote? Because Donald Trump wanted to run on the border, and his response was, "That's not what happened." I'm like, "Yes, it is. Get out of your fucking."
Senator Langford was the main author of that bill, a conservative Republican in the Senate.
The guy who was from Oklahoma, the guy that wrote the bill for he was Oklahoma.
Yeah, and one of the co-writers of that bill was the lady on that State of the Union thing, looking like a really bad actress who's like filling in on Handmaid's Tales as one of the snitch ladies. Who's like, "Well, I like the red dresses. Fuck you. I heard what you said. I'm telling dear leader about this."
So why
Like
haven't I
that's how
heard
she
that
came
until
off.
right now? Why aren't they reporting like, hey,
Yeah,
you
she was
saved your
one of the
worst
writers to the bill
nightmares, this happening to your daughter. Why didn't you vote for the bill you fucking wrote?
that you wrote. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she can't even claim to be, well, this was written by one of those rhino Republicans or one that was secretly a lizard like the Democrats wearing Republican skin masks. Like she can't claim that. She's one of the authors, and then she's going on she's a bad actress. Many of these really shitty Republican candidates and many of their crazy media people, they're like failed actors and stuff who are
Yeah.
just doing this now. They don't believe in anything. Oh, you want me to write a border bill? Cool. You want me to vote against it? Whatever. Like I'll do that too. I'm only here for money and clout and whatever the fuck else.
And because they know, as my friend proves, the dumbest of the dumb will just go along with whatever the fuck they're told.
Mhm.
And we see it in the comment section on here too, where the instant we insult Biden, we hear nothing. Insult Trump, it's like, why don't you ever talk about Biden? It's like we do from time to time. Like whenever I personally insult Trump, they're like, what don't you do about Hunter Biden? I'm like, I've talked about Hunter Biden a ton, talked about it on my videos, talked about it on the podcast. It's just people get so wrapped up in their fucking little echo worlds that
When
they
Hunter Biden runs for office, maybe we'll be talking about him a little more. I don't know what you want me to say.
well,
He's
and all we're
never
doing now is praising him because he seems to have lived a fun life, fucking hookers and
yeah.
strippers and coke.
I've
And
done low rent versions of everything he's done. You know what I mean? But just with like cheap pharmaceuticals crushed up on the back of toilets in dive bars. So you know what I mean? Like, who am I gonna? I live in glass houses when it comes to criticizing the man for his drug use. And you know, he seems like a fun guy. And more importantly, I'm not letting Trump Jr. lecture me about nepotism. It's just not going to happen. You know, at least Joe Biden was only pulling nepotism bullshit in the private sector, not the public sector, like Trump does. What do you want? You can't fucking talk on this.
if anybody wants me to insult Hunter Biden, I will right here. I tried reading his book. It was fucking boring. I couldn't do it. His book was fucking boring. So there you go. I've just insulted him. He's a bad author,
Yeah,
bad
not all
ghostwriter.
drug addicts are Hunter S. Thompson. Most of them just fucking rambling, teeth chattering as they're clanking away, making typos and things.
All right, let's stay with politics for one more and then we'll move on. I thought this was a great clip. Marjorie Taylor Greene tells British journalist Emily Matillis to fuck off after being questioned on Jewish space laser conspiracy. That was a neat little clip because how do you feel that your party is, filled with conspiracy theorists? And Marjorie's like, no, that's you. That's the media. You're full of conspiracy theorists. And then she goes very specific. Jewish
like
space
the
lasers.
Crazy conspiracy that Joe Biden won the 2020 election. Y'all are fucking bonkers.
Yeah. The instant is thrown in her face. Well, you said Jew. Well, fuck off. And it's because they can't. That's why they stick to the safe spaces of Fox and Newsmax and all, because they don't get challenged. The instant they get challenged, they have to run because.
Oh yeah, that lady's bad shit. Yeah, she's out of her goddamn mind. And the Republicans in Congress are nuts because they had her read motions to censor Ilhan Omar for anti-Semitism, which,
right.
hey, say what you want about Ilhan Omar. We don't like everything she says or does. That said,
I don't think I like anything she says or does.
At least when she's criticizing like Israel, like it's the state of Israel. Whereas Marjorie Taylor Greene is, she had that crazy fucking space lasers article that she retweeted. You know what I mean? Yeah. So of all the hundreds of Republican representatives you could have had read that, you went with the one who retweeted the one about Jewish space lasers. You could have picked almost any of them. They would be way less anti-Semitic.
You could have even picked Bo Bear. I don't think I can't think of. I mean, she's too busy giving hand jobs to be anti-Semitic. I can't think of anything.
That would be like that would be like having Lauren Boebert read a motion to give people the death penalty for giving hand jobs in musicals. It's really fucking nuts what you did. Your choice of who to read that is so nutty to me.
But again, because they're playing to their audience. No, their audience is dumb and they like crazy and they don't pay attention to reality, so it works.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. But no, that's why I think that's why I think they're doing the National Guard thing in the subway here. That's why I think they're doing the we're actually going to start arresting people for committing crimes in San Francisco now. It's because it's an election year. They saw what happened with Tom Suozzi. He went, but not like full on Republican tough on
Yeah.
immigration, but like, didn't just sit there and go, yeah, dude, I don't check anyone coming over the border. Who gives a fuck? Let them all in. You know what I mean? Like he didn't do that, and he won. And it was at a time when there was like videos going around of like migrant youths assaulting cops and things like that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that was
Those guys
big
that
national news. And so like that should have played better for the Republican candidate. Now, I don't think that's the main reason that Tom Suozzi won, but it's what the Democrats are chalking it up to. So they're going to try to hit us on immigration and crime. So we're going to not let them do that. We're going to kind of clamp down on the cities that are going a little nuttier with it. And we're going to do that in the general. I think that's their main
Well, I got a
strategy.
question for you. I got a question for you. What happens when it works? When it's like, oh, not letting everyone just shit on the sidewalk in San Francisco turns out to be a good thing. Oh, giving shoplifters, charging them with shoplifting or petty theft or whatever. Again, not like, incarceration, 10 years for shoplifting, but like enforcing
Here's
laws. What if it suddenly works? Like
you're on probation for 6 months, shit like that. Yeah, I mean, I think some of those cities are going to go back to doing their own thing in 25, but again, like I said, with New York progressives are more like, hey, let's have some social programs and make housing a little more affordable and get people, medical help if they need it. Whereas a lot of the San Francisco progressives make us look like we're goose stepping next to them. They'll be like, listen, a lot of the homeless people out here, unhoused, have to blow dudes for heroin. It's society that's making blow those dudes. As taxpayers, we should be blowing the dudes for their heroin. Everybody blow a dude before work today and then buy a $50 half gram of heroin out of the vending machine and put it in the donation box. Put it in the donation box. You don't want to blow a dude for heroin for that homeless guy, you're part of the problem. And if one of those homeless guys tries to stick you up on the way to the donation box, you apologize for your privilege and you hand him your wallet, and don't you call the cops. Otherwise, you're a bigot.
That's frighteningly accurate. All right, moving on. This one I could not get a real take on because I read it several times and I was looking for, because the language is used poorly.
Wait, before we move on, let me
go
just
ahead.
say, because I got sidetracked. The crime and immigration thing is not the real reason that Tom Suozzi won. I'm not saying it didn't help. It's because, and this is what the liberal side of the media was leaving out a lot. He was running for George Santos's seat. Okay, if George Santos was a Democrat, we'd be having problems winning that one too. We'd be having big problems. That was a national embarrassment for not only that district but the entire Republican Party. And the Republicans fucked up in that.
Well, the
special
the
election,
four New York Republicans that called for Santos to be investigated, removed, and all, the Republican Party turned on them and said, no, you're not falling lock and step in line with the Republican Party. You don't call out one of your own. And they're like, it's fucking George Santos. We will lose our elections if we support him. And those are the ones that got the Republican Party turned on them and said, how dare you not toe the line?
It's because they have like a razor thin majority in the House right now, and they need every swinging dick in there, or swinging labia, whatever they got. But the Republicans fucked up because they ran a complete unknown. They I don't remember the lady's name, but I think she was from like Ethiopia or something, but she was pretty far right. But I think the thought on their end was like, well, we don't look sexist and racist if we have this woman of color in there. Where it's like, no, you guys fucked up. You shouldn't. You ran an unknown. You should have. It sort of reminded people of Santos all over again. It's like, it's this completely unknown person whose name we didn't know till yesterday. Last time this happened in this very same district, the man ended up being a Batman villain. So now you have just a completely unknown lady from Ethiopia in here going, we vetted her. It's fine. And she sounds a little nutty already too. And so it's like, dude, no, you should have gone with someone else. Hey, man, if they're diverse plus, great. But that will help in a swing district in New York for sure. Even though it's a little right leaning, it's out in Long Island for the most part, whatever. But there's parts in Queens in there. But either way, the fact that it's an unknown, I don't care. Take the fact that she's Ethiopian, like whatever. I'm not talking about her gender, her, where she's from, whatever. The fact that she's unknown, I don't care if she's from Oklahoma, if and she's like a Baptist blonde lady. If you have not heard of her, if nobody in that district, nobody in that party's heard of her, they're gonna be like, this feels like George Santos all over again. We don't know who the fuck this lady is.
Wasn't that the distinguished
kind of fake charities is she going to have?
That was the Distinguished Gentleman, the Eddie Murphy movie. It was name recognition. He had the same name as the politician that died, so he just ran on. They just like, oh, I recognize that name.
Yeah. George Santos. See, he went up to him. He was like, I'm just going to completely make up all of this isn't based off a real person at all. I'm running on a fake person's complete identity and resume.
All right. Mother arrested after concocting drink for her son to give school bully that sent him to hospital. All right. First of all, that's a poorly written sentence because the bully went to the hospital. It's not like the school bully beat up a kid and mom said, well, you went to the hospital because this bully beat you up. Give him this drink. And here's what I can't suss out of this story is so Jennifer Lynn Rossi mixed lemon juice, vinegar, salt, and Gatorade together in a sports bottle and told her son to give it to a classmate who had stolen his drink the day before. That's where I'm confused. Did she say, here's this yucky drink, go give it to him? The move is you make a yucky drink and you just keep it in your backpack. And when the guy comes up like, give me your drink, you little shit, you just hand it to him. Because
that's the way I assumed it was.
Well, I don't know because it could go either way. And so the kid went to the hospital. Is like they even say in the article it's nothing toxic. I just read them: lemon juice, vinegar, salt, and Gatorade. How much did he drink to get sick? Because isn't that a one sip and then spit it out once you get that? I'm confused by this. Did he chug that thing? And how do those ingredients send someone to the hospital?
Yeah, this is a dumb kid. Hey, mother of the bully. A, your kid's a bully, so you're a shitty mom there. B, your kid's dumb. You're even shittier there because he's sitting there going, this Gatorade tastes funny, but I'm going to drink it anyway. I'm going to make you watch, pussy. Oh, I'm drinking your Gatorade because you're a bitch. He just downed a whole bunch of like a Gatorade bottle full of vinegar, man. Like, that's crazy.
Well, and since we can't determine, I'm just going to tell you, if I'm on the jury and the bullied kid's mom said, here, walk up to the bully and give him this drink, all right, she's a little guilty. However,
even then, $50 fine. Fuck him. This is a funny prank.
If it is literally, he just had it in his backpack and the bully went, give me your drink, kid, then she's fucking innocent. He took it from the kid. If she said, when he asks for your drink, you give him this, that's fine. If he's fucking stealing a drink, then he deserves to be in the hospital. Maybe lesson learned. Like,
I don't care if there was goddamn strychnine in it at that point. He's foaming at the mouth. Fuck him. He got what he deserved.
Exactly. All right. Final story. Jake, you and I, we are stand-up comedians.
Before we move on, let me just say, this would not have been a news story 20 years ago. This would have been something that they did to a kid in Sandlot who was bullying the little baseball team, and then they all laughed, and then funny 60s music played behind them, and then they all went and chewed bubble gum and went to the swimming pool or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, this would have been a scene in a movie where the bully's throwing up and the audience is like, yeah, that bully got what he deserved. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dude, in Sandlot, those kids would have pissed in that Gatorade. They would have thrown laxatives in there.
Yeah.
They would have thrown a dog turd in it. It would have been crazy. And then we all would have laughed. We would have laughed and we'd be like, yeah, that's how kids used to deal with bullies back then. See, man.
And that's why the only thing I have to question is, did she say walk up and say, here's my Gatorade, or did he wait for it to get taken? But anyway, moving on. Let's get one last
It was
story.
Funny. They gave that kid nerve damage, and then they went and got that Babe Ruth ball back. It was whimsical.
You and I are comedians, Jake. Every so often we look at an audience and you see someone that's not having the best time, right? You just see someone, they're frowning or they're not into you.
Especially my shows. Sure.
Yeah. You let it go though. You focus. If I am in a comedy club or wherever, if I'm at a show, I'm on stage. I'm just going to say there are 50 people in the audience. If I see 49 of them laughing, I focus on that. I do not look at the one person that's not having a good time and what the fuck is wrong with you. So when Madonna is on stage and she sees someone sitting down during her concert, she calls the person out. Hey, why are you sitting? Why aren't you up dancing? Oops, it was a person in a wheelchair. Or Madonna, you could have just fucking let it go and gone, I guess they're not into me, but that is how weak and fragile Madonna's I need plastic surgery every year because I think I'm still 29 in my mind. That's how weak and fragile she is. She sees one person sitting, she has to get on it and call it. Just leave it alone. Fucking just let the people enjoying your. And it turns out the person was enjoying it. It was like, yeah, why are you focusing on the one person that's not doing what you want? You're not a god. You're just
Yeah.
Madonna. Fucking let it go.
The person in the wheelchair answered back, I'm in here because I'm one of your fans from the beginning. I'm 97 years old, Madonna. I bought your first album when it came back in the early 1900s, back when it was on one of those crazy record machines with the funnel speaker that was all twisty, looked like a Dr. Seuss thing or something.
The other answer could have been is from everything I've read, her concerts start like 3 hours late. They say 8 p.m. and then she's getting sued for that, by the way. She's getting sued because her concert's at 8 p.m. and she went on stage at like 11 p.m. And so,
yeah, her fans got to be older at this point. They can't.
I'm just saying, she could have said, I'm sitting because I'm fucking tired. You started your concert 3 hours late.
I was a fully able-bodied person at the beginning of your show when you were supposed to go on stage. Now I'm a paraplegic. I've gone through decades worth of disabilities and stuff.
That's what your neglect does. Anyway, you learn to ignore the people that aren't. It happens.
Well, I don't know. I'm kind of on her side a little bit because, like, I think it was one of those she's trying to hype the crowd a little bit, and then she didn't realize and kind of apologized or
nah,
whatever.
she wasn't hyping the crowd. She was asking one single person, "Why are you sitting down? Let the single person go. Even if they're not in a wheelchair, they have a right to sit through your fucking shitty concert."
They do, but I think she was trying to do with it. I mean, I'd have to see. It's such a short clip on here.
It is a short clip. All it is why. But
I think she was it. It looked like they were all on their feet, so I'm guessing she got them up all on their feet. You know what I mean? It was like, come on, let's
concert.
Get the
people just naturally
kind of
stand up for the most part.
Well, yeah, but I think hyping the crowd's a good thing, and plus, I think she should do full on tent preacher stuff. I think she should be like, "Are you in a wheelchair? Not for long. I'm going to lay my healing hands on you." She's going to come out dressed like she did at the Grammys with all that crazy outer space sun Ra shit on her head, and then just start speaking in tongues, and then that guy gets up and walks. He dances off. Get into the groove, boy. You got to prove your love. He dances out of that wheelchair.
I mean, she's got to have as much power as that guy that be gone bald spot. I mean, she's Madonna. She's got to have more power than that guy. All right, we've got.
That's right. That guy should have just said, "Drink the hyper-vaccinated man's blood." Like I
Find
did.
Jake at Jake Vevra on all social media sites. Watch Twisted Cupid live on YouTube. Watch for clips on Instagram. Check me out at nathantimmel.com. Go to YouTube, Nathan Timmel, my channel. My 1 hour special is up there. It's doing all right. People are giggling. They enjoy it. And that's about it. We will talk at you next week. Thanks, Chicago Comedy Scene Radio Network.
Thank you, Chicago. Madonna looks like that because she had less than 200 COVID vaccines. Get your shots.